This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hello, my name is Spartan Dillios, and you are with Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show with Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with El Espartano, Dillios.
Hi James, hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. And well, you said about the plugs. But I don't really do much social media. If you want to follow, it's just my name there, Dillios _ Espartano, BWF. That's the wrestling promotion that I fight for.
And do you have merchandise?
Oh, no, I don't have any merch. It's something that the Brazilian Wrestling Federation is working on for all the wrestlers they are associated with. But personally, I don't have any merch.
Gotcha. Alright, and you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. And can you tell us what you have coming up next, event-wise?
Well, the next event, it's gonna be on the 30th of August. I will be fighting Ace and Death Rider for it's Sobrevivente. It means a Survivor Championship. It's a triple threat only title. And well, I just turned face, to be honest. It was a very special moment for me in the last show and in the transition now to trying to capture this title.
And you have been chasing this championship and Death Rider himself for quite some time, no?
Yeah, like in the end of 2024, I fought him twice in very quickly succession, but I was unsuccessful in grabbing the title. But we fought many times before. I think it was 2015, the first time he came to BWF, and I'm a lifer for BWF. So yeah, it's quite a dream for me to achieve this, to be the Sobrevivente champion. So well, I'm dedicating myself.
And what is it about the Survivor Championship that has you what made you choose that belt, may I ask?
Well, firstly, it's kind of silly, but I think the color of the belt, it's really beautiful and it would really work together with my wrestling gear. Well, but it's not all that superfluous. It has the meaning that one of my best friends in wrestling, his name was Speed, just Speed, a masked luchador. And he was one of the first Survivor champions, and he inspired me in the locker room to be a little more like him, like the way he looked at wrestling, with a more fun perspective, not always that professional and serious and business kind of looking at it, but a more I wouldn't say with jokingly, but really just easy go in the way he looks at wrestling, and he kind of gave me a second wind at my career at some point. So it's something that I would honor him to be. Yeah.
I gotcha. You can, I didn't find anything about this, but can you, did you win the Rookies Championship? Because I know that in order to go to, like, the main roster, the proper, show, you have to kind of go through the training part of things.
Yeah, I wasn't a Rookies champion. I was part of the first Rookies tournament, but I got eliminated at the semifinal to Victor Bauer or Ace. I mean, it's one of the two. I fought them many times, and they are like the biggest stars of BWF throughout the past 10 years. So, it was 2014. It's kind of long ago. But you could say the professional debut or the transition from rookie to professional was when I won the tag team championships with his name in English would be Black Shark. The name of the tag team was Cupola.
And can you tell us about that tag team with Black Shark?
Well, it was the forming years of my career. At first, we were a stable with Katu, and Katu was the leader. He was a veteran, and he also was the teacher at BWF. So right from the wrestling school, he selectioned us to be his lackeys, kind of that. So we got together like this, helping Kadu to win his fights, to win his matches. But after that, he got out of BWF because of some personal stuff. And we and Black Shark, we stayed together, we stayed strong, and we helped each other to form the first 7 years of our careers. And he's a good friend of mine. At the moment, he's not really involved in BWF, but he was a crucial part in all these years in my training, my motivation, and in being able to perform what I loved, that was wrestling.
Like you mentioned, you won tag team gold. What did that kind of mean to you to win those titles?
Well, when we first won it, I think we weren't mature enough to realize how big of a achievement it was. I was 16 at the time, and he was a little older. I think he was 19, and it was, I think, too soon for us to be champions, to be honest, because although we find the spots in the show to be the tag champions, it was because we were the most tight bonds and the tag team that was there and formed and stayed together the longest. So I think it was kind of a resistance battle that we fought to get the belts. But in the moment that we got it, the motivation kind of lacked. And also we lost the belts not to another tag team, but to ourselves, because both of us had to do surgery in like a 3-month time space. So he went to surgery first, and I went to surgery after him. So we had to relinquish the belts and try to recapture it many times after we came back, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same connection. It wasn't the same speed that we went through. So eventually I ended the tag team with a notorious and quite special to me, because it was one of the moments that blew up in BWF with a huge chair shot to his head.
Ooh. When you did come back, What do you think
Mhm.
was the disconnect that you just didn't have?
No, I think both ways. Just personally, I mean, like with my heart that I felt at the moment, and what transpired in the matches was that I was kind of dragging him, and as I said, he had his reasons not to dedicate himself as once he did. He had many family issues he had to take care of, but my career wasn't going to pay the price for that. And I think that didn't necessarily separate us at, I mean, at a friendship level, but a professional level. I knew what I had to do, and eventually that led to a separation in the personal stuff as well.
And you mentioned essentially cutting the dead weight with a chair shot.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you?
Well, things happen very quickly in BWF. Usually, there's not many preparation time to do the spots and to do the promos. But Bob Jr., that is the owner and the founder of BWF, he just told me that, I mean, Black Shark is doing an interview right there. What you gonna do about it? And the first thing that I thought was to hit him and let him know how I felt. So I struck him in the head, and he fell to the floor. I choked him with the chair and screamed at him all that I wanted. To let him know that I wasn't going to be a part of that anymore, that he was out of my life, and my name should be out of his mouth from that point on.
You know, being a part of a tag team for, you know, as long as you were, and you were, you know, a tag team for a long time, what was it kind of like, you know, to finally kind of step out on your own 2 feet and be a singles wrestler?
I mean, at first, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't used to that type of match. I wouldn't say that I got complacent, but I was just awestruck. I looked at the lights and nothing felt real. I mean, I was facing contenders and I was facing champions, but something still didn't connect in me that I was Dillios, that I'm for myself now. So at first it was kind of hard to get to know who I am inside the ring again, but I would say that after a year of trying, I finally understood what I was good at, and my performances started to get better, my mental started to get better, and my position on the card also started to get better.
Was there anything that, you know, when you had that disconnect, that reconnected you? Was there a moment or something that kind of made you feel like, yeah, I'm getting back to where I need to be?
I think there was, but it was not a single moment, but it was a single person, and that was Blackout, and you already interviewed him,
Yes.
I think a month ago, and he's my best friend. Honestly, in all my life, since wrestling training, since I was 12 years old, and he was 15. He's my best friend, and he kind of talked me into how to find myself. He's a very intelligent guy, and kind of I would say a mentor to me. Not necessarily on the fighting itself, in the wrestling itself, but at all in life. And through his guidance, I understood what steps I needed to take, and understood what Dillios could be in the ring.
So you're saying Blackout shed some light for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of ironic, but yeah.
Now you was able to capture the Internet Championship as well. I believe your proper first singles title. What was that moment like?
Yeah, it was my first singles title, and I won it against Alan Sales. And I mean, the moment was really special. It was, as I told you ago, in the WF we usually don't have many preparation time, and it was I won a contenders match to get the chance to fight Alan for the Internet Championship, but he got injured. He dislocated his arm, and he couldn't do it. So I went after other fighters, but I wanted to make my voice heard. That my chance, I still owe a chance at the belt. And when he tried to answer, the kind of heated up Dillios that sometimes takes over, just got out of the ring and booted him on the chest alongside with the interviewer, and I grabbed his championship. Now it was his challenge to get to me. Even though I was not officially the champion, I think it was the best plan that I could come up at the moment in order to get my chance. And in the end, it worked out. He got heated up, he got emotional, and challenged me two events, 2 shows later, still injured, and he couldn't do it. I took the opportunity of his injury to grab my first singles title. So it was not, I mean, a heroic win, but it was certainly a strategic one.
Was that a moment you took in the moment, or was it something that kind of set in afterwards, like, wow, I did this?
Oh, it definitely set in afterwards, definitely. At first, I was just going with the flow, just doing what it felt right, and also receiving some knowledge from Bob Jr. on how to approach this challenge. But it just felt real when I got back home, and for the first time, I had the title. Like, where do I put it? I don't have a drawer. I don't have a cabinet to put this. It was the moment that it finally sets in.
You mentioned, winning the tag team championships.
Mm-hmm.
You were maybe a bit immature to kind of understand, what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel differently when you won the Internet Championship?
Yeah, definitely. Because in the Internet Championship, I was more confident in my abilities. I was more confident in showing myself also to the public. So also, it is a championship that requires you to have a presence online, and it was not something that I used to, and I made the most of it. Some trainees still today tell me that my reign was the best reign because I established the Espartano. Not just the internet, and it was a Instagram page that I would just post my catchphrase that is "oh," just like in the 300 movie, the shout.
Yeah.
And I would just post "ow" every single day at the same time for the time that I was champion, and that was the interaction that they all got. But I was there. And a couple of stories that I posted as well that went really good with the fans. was I questioning the Bob Jr. if I could defend my internet championship through home office, because I mean it's the internet championship. Why can't I defend it like from here? And the other fighter is on the show, but I don't need to be there to be pinned. So that sounded funny to the guys. And I also asked ChatGPT what would be the easiest defense for my next fight, and I also posted that. Was the highlights of the reign was these posts.
Seemed like you were taking full advantage of the title of the title.
Yeah, exactly. Because Alan, the previous champion, he was an influencer. He has a TikTok with many followers, and I have like photos of me beating people up, and sometimes my family in my Instagram. So I went more on the comedic route, even though I kept serious on the ring whenever I was fighting. But it was a opportunity that I understood that could show more of my personality to the fans, and went really well.
Now, just kind of going back, you have another title match on the 30th, like you said, the Surviving Championship. I got a good feeling like you might be capturing that in a couple of days. What would be different from this type with capturing that championship to the internet championship?
Well, because I think the Surviving Championship, it's harder to keep him, just as for the fact that you are always in a triple threat. But the way that I would approach it would be also to try to rub my personality more on the ring, to use the opportunity on the belt, and when the lights bright on the belt, to show who I really am. And at the moment, as I said, being finally I face after a 11 years career, I think I could show not only this aggressive side, not only this funny side, but also the heart that I have. What more of a person I am outside of the ring, but not bound to the necessity of being this mean fighter, this mean warrior that Dillios was throughout these 11 years. So if I'm still not sure, but I'll do what I can. If I win the Surviving Championship, I think that would be the most important thing while the reign lasts, to show a good message in what surviving is. That surviving has many ways of appearing in our lives, not just in a dire situation, in a life or death situation, in a dangerous situation, but also in every day. When you have to survive your daily commute, you have to survive your jerk boss, when you have to survive the conditions that kind of you put yourself in your life, but you gotta make the most of it. So I ought to be a way more positive reign in moments in my career.
And it is kind of, a new version of yourself as well. Like you said, just turning, face. How has that transition been, considering you've been a heel for so long?
Well, it's still very recent, but I think for the moment, even though considering I have these two reigns as a tag team and as the internet champion, I think it was the most important moment and most special moments in my career, because I really felt and it was really new. I really felt loved by the fans, and it was something that was organic. It was not forced upon them, and by the ways of my catchphrase, by the shouts, by Au, and they started to connect, and because it's catchy, and they started doing the shout with me in my entrance. And when I kind of hit up for doing a big move, but everyone in the locker room and also Bob Jr. started noticing that it was a bit more than that. It was a bit more than the catchphrase, and he tried to give me opportunities where I could show that up. So it was very organic to go from heel to be hated, to be portrayed as the villain itself, to be mean to the other fighters, to a twinner, because the fans already went with me in the chants, but they didn't really like me that much at that moment. They still would pop when I lost, when they counted 1, 2, 3 for the other wrestlers, and but the chant was still there when I entered the ring, but along this rides, it was very natural for me as well to want to become a face, and for Bob Jr. to give the approval for the turn to happen. So I think that's because it was so special, because it was not just a moment, it was a coronation that took these 11 years to happen. And I did an interview. This show did not went online, but if you search BWF's Instagram, it was the show that we made on the circus. Well, I did an interview and telling the fans that the next fight and the war that I was about to go through, the campaign that I was about to go through, I couldn't do it alone anymore, and I would need them to be my Spartan warriors. And the interviewer firstly asked if I was ready for what is coming, and I said that the right question would be if we were ready, me and all the fans, all the Spartan warriors, and we all erupted in a chant of many and many owls.
Obviously, BFW has more, BWF, I should say, has more fans than just 300, but it would be kind of cool that if there were 300 people in the crowd, in your attire, cheering you on, just for, that little moment for people that know.
It's really close. Most of our shows pack from 200 to 250 live fans. Of course, online we have, I think now, 25,000 followers, but in the live crowd it's really close to 300. It would be, I mean, if you could count the other wrestlers on the locker room, we can kind of get to the number, but not all of them like me. Most of them do.
Speaking of BWF, you've only ever competed for them, correct?
Correct. I was trained there, as I said, since 12 years old, and it was the only promotion that I ever wrestled for. I did a collaboration with a Bolivian. I don't know if you can get the logo of them. Can send you later. It's a Bolivian wrestling company, but it's just called Luchadores, and they were touring here in Brazil, and they did a event in collaboration with Brazilian Wrestling Federation. But I wrestled in a you would consider a house show. It was not filmed, it was not televised, it was just for the live audience there in a neighborhood that is populated by Bolivians here, immigrants from Bolivia. But it was still in collaboration with BWF, me and other wrestlers from BWF.
Have you considered and thought about venturing out of Brazil?
Well, I think the dream never really dies, but at the moment it's not one of my priorities. It was when I was beginning because the sky seemed the limit. I mean, I was young and already achieving the dream of becoming a wrestler at 15. It meant to me that, well, WWE is like 2 steps away now, right? I am already a wrestler, and even when William Regal came to Brazil to try and look for wrestlers here to get to WWE, my father always told me to keep my head up and that it was a chance, that there was a chance that I could do it. And it was not the moment, I would say. I was really young at the time. And but as I matured, I think wrestling is something that I deeply associate with BWF. So I don't see myself wrestling for any other promotions here in Brazil. And I would only do for other promotions outside of Brazil or in collaboration with them with the approval of Bob Jr. because he undoubtedly he is a father figure to me, and he teach me a lot of things about not only wrestling but life, and this respect that I have for him, it's what roots this opinion and this determination that I have to be only in the WF. It's a very different reality to many other countries where wrestling is kind of expanding in the current era. But for me, I think it's what works the most is staying here and making BWF the biggest it can be in Brazil instead of making Dillios the biggest it can be outside of BWF.
Now, I did notice that, you know, BWF has a six-sided ring. Can you tell us about the advantages and disadvantages of working, a six-sided ring?
I don't say that it was a recent thing because I think the first time we wrestled there was in 2019 with SFT. It was the pilot to send to the Punch, that is the TV station. But the advantage, I would say, there's a lot more opportunities to work the crowds because when you have more aprons and you can work these angles with the crowd, some of them have a view, and on the other side, the view is not obstructed by being too lateral. So it gives a better experience, I think, for the fans. But for wrestlers, is just a chance to innovate on how we look when we get to for new fans to find us because they are used to the four-sided ring, the classic, and when they see the six-sided ring, I think it's a kind of a shock that in today's social media, at 2 seconds that they spend to, oh, what is this? We grab them and they pay more attention to what our product is.
And, you even mentioned it. A lot of BWF is actually televised. What does that kind of feel like, knowing that you're on, TV?
Well, when we first got to TV, it was another moment where I felt like, well, this is the dream. That's what I worked for my my entire life. Because when I first debuted, uh, I wrestled for like 20 drunk guys in a in the scolding sun, and I mean working 4 or 5 minute matches, and that was already the dream for me because I was a wrestler. But to see that we went from that, from I still joke with the other wrestlers, from Ajax Fields, because it's a Várzea. It's a small football club here in São Paulo, and we wrestled there sometimes in this 40 degrees Celsius sun for the drunkards, and it was fun, and it kept being fun all the way through until we got to TV. But seeing all the production, seeing the lights, seeing the cameras, and seeing all the people that were dedicated fans of BWF, and with their signs and their chants, and getting to know the wrestlers and the product and the storylines, and you talk to them. We all talk to them after the show ends and before we put the ink down, and it was very special to think that, well, I think I made it. But it, it it's in this moment that we realize that it's much further also, because it's just the first step to be in TV, and then we gotta worry about ratings, we got to worry about the match time, and how so anyway, I was just forming the thought again. It got really professional after we went on TV, because these aspects of the timing, how much time we spent on the entrance and the positions for the photos, for the marketing material. So it was a lot more serious from that point on, but it was more special because we could finally tell our friends and family that, see, the silly thing that I do, it's now on TV, so they can watch it. And I tell them to watch almost every week, but the scheduled time for our program is at 1 a.m. from Saturday to Sunday, so it's kind of a bad time because it's really late.
Right.
And I had many friends tell me that, oh, I can't watch it because I had to go to church on Sunday morning, or have to take my son to practice, or whatever. But just in them knowing that wrestling and telecatch, as we say it here, is back on TV and it's on the rise, I think it's already a good thing, because once they experience it from another media, like from a TikTok, from a Reels, or for someone saying to them that, oh, I just watched WWE on Netflix. Is that what you do, right? And I can tell them that, yeah, but we have it right here in Brazil. Just watch it.
I imagine that would maybe be validating of, a career choice, no?
Yeah, a lot. Actually, it puts all the sacrifice into perspective, and mostly when we tell other people that it's not just because I do it because I love it. It's not just because it was my dream when I was a boy, but it's a valid option for what I do. I have friends that are musicians. I have friends that are pro goalkeepers, and we all are kind of, yeah, I know how it is to fulfill a dream. And it's not validating to the point of a career, because as I think I mentioned to our messages, I am a nutritionist, so I have a full-time job, and also I take some patients from outside work. So, in terms of my way of living, monetary reasons for doing pro wrestling here, it's still not the primary source of income in my house, but it's getting there. It's way better. When I first started, it was like 30 eyes. I could use the dollars, but like $30, and now it's about 350. And one show I earned 400 for the match. So it's quite the upgrade on these 10 years that I've been doing this. And continuing on the TV, the expectation is to one day be the main source of income. It's to be the main thing that I do is that I'm known for.
And early on, you mentioned, William Regal coming down to
Mhm.
Brazil. What was your interactions with William Regal, if any?
Well, honestly, it was very few. Not to say that my English is good now, but it was way worse back then, and so I couldn't really talk with him. But I met him. I had a handshake, and he did a seminar with us and told us what was important for the betterment of the product, of our careers, of BWF, of our in-ring skills as a whole. But I never really had this feeling that he went here, he came here for me, because it was kind of, we already knew in the locker room that he was here because of Cesar Bononi, that eventually ended up on NXT and after that in AEW. And so it was really nice. Like, wow, these things happen. He's a prominent figure in wrestling. I watched him when I was 8 years old, and now 8 years later, I'm meeting him. But it didn't really light that fire that working for another things here in BWF lit. Like, some of the wrestlers went like, no, this is my chance to get to WWE, to finally launch my career. And for me, it was, oh, that's nice, but when's the next show?
And I think it's time for that segment. And once again, Dillios' Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and really crazy and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh, sorry, the window was open. The first part, I didn't get it.
Yes. Can you tell us a road story that is weird, crazy, and or bizarre?
A road story that's weird, crazy, and bizarre. Well, we had Comanche. It was a veteran wrestler, a old wrestler that booked some of the shows that I told you about in the Ajax feud and other similar places that was not really good for our health and safety. So, you know Arn Anderson, right?
Yes.
Okay. His nephew, it's Tim Anderson. He wrestled here in WWF for a couple of years. Right before I had my debut, and for about 2 years after I debuted. And one of the shows that we did with him in these not very sanitary places, it was in the street for some kids and some drunkards. And there was a really dirty river going right alongside. We were, of course, like up here on the street, and the river like down here. And Tim Anderson, to get his hit, he grabbed one of the child by the lapel and put him to like throw him in the river. and I and I mean that went really well for his hit, because the other kids started to throw rocks at him and really hurt his back. He scratched his back. He was a big guy, and I mean the marks were there, but he did not sacrifice the child. He put him down and got back up to the ring to face, if I remember correctly, it was Ulrich Jr. Yeah. But after the show was over and we were dismantling the ring, some of the guys from the neighborhood went to talk with Bob Jr. and told him that they wanted to talk with him. And they were from the drug ring around there, and I don't know if the term is correct. The traffickants, I mean, drug dealers basically of the area, and they kind of protect the neighborhood. And they wanted to have a talk with him because of his actions in the ring and almost killing a child. So that was really bizarre for me to see, because I mean I'm a heel as well. At the time I was a heel, and I think, well, I don't think that was too bad, because I mean it was kind of safe how he did it, but the ambience there was not really understanding the purpose. It was not really understanding the show. And I mean, to be honest, you could say that he went a few steps extra, that he didn't need to grab the child. But for me it was like, well, I need to think before I do this kind of things when I'm on the ring.
Yeah, and look at the...
Oh, but he was all right, okay? They talked with him. They told him that, well, don't do that, because they wouldn't let it pass if he did it another time. And I think we didn't even go there to do another show after, so it was safe. And after Tim Anderson moved to another state here in Brazil and got married, and as far as I know, he's not wrestling anymore.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a bizarre adventure. You know, drug dealers with their face torn. Right. Now, you actually play the flute. Can you tell us about your love of the flute?
It's kind of recent as well. I just started learning it in October of 2024, so not even a year. And I used the flute as kind of a trial for the things I needed in other aspects of my life. And it's right here as well. It's in my bag. But the meaning in trying to learn a simple instrument like this, it was to learn to not give up, because I had the tendency to start something new, and when I realized that I was not one of the best right after I started, I gave up. And I mean that's not for me, and I gave up in many things because of that, many hobbies and many jobs as well. But the flute was a way for me to understand that some things take time, that they need practice, and but not put too many or not too too much or too little pressure in the things that I put myself into doing. Because for me it's not that I need to be good at the flute. It's a tin whistle. It's an Irish flute, and It's not that I need to be good at the tin whistle in a year's time, in 5 years' time, but if in like 30 years' time I'm decent and I can play many songs and I can play them for my family and for my friends and in church, I feel satisfied. And I try to get this feeling that I have for the flute into other projects in my life. And now that I have a health clinic with a psychology, psychologist, yeah, and I'm a nutritionist, I'm starting to get this way of thinking that I use on the flute into these other aspects, these projects for my life, and also I think for my marriage and other things. So yeah, it's really fun. But I practice like 10 minutes a day, and not every day. But try to learn some new songs and some new taps by when the months go on.
What made you choose the flute?
I think it was because first I'm really into medieval things. I mean,
Oh, gee, no.
if you couldn't guess.
I had no idea.
So the sound of it's really nice because it reminds me of this medieval theme, and it's really niche. And I have also this tendency to not go mainstream. The things that resonate with me most are more underground, like some Islam and guttural, really heavy music, some deep movies that are like not the mainstream, and I ought to do that with the things that I practice. I mean, here in Brazil, especially, pro wrestling is a niche thing. So I think I went on that route of I'm not like most guys, and so I'm not gonna choose an instrument like guitar because it's the instrument that most guys choose. So I will get a small, tiny, and like it's not reverse of a high pitched instrument that, well, my dog finds really annoying when I start practicing. But I think that was the all of the reasons, medieval, and it's really niche.
You know, if you were still working here, I would say that would be a great way to get heat. You know, come out and serenade the crowd with the flute.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I thought about it, but using it in pro wrestling, I didn't find the spots to do it because it's not very loud. It's a simple instrument, so I wouldn't be able to get a microphone into it to use it properly. But well, if someday I find a way to use it, I think it would be fun, kind of like a better version of Tai Chi from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Pretend like singing. I could pretend like I'm playing the flute.
I was just gonna say, get one of the young boys to hold the microphone to the flute, and then you gain heat with the young boys as well.
Yeah. Well, could be nice, but I know two songs from. I mean, I know it's a hard word because it's not very. It doesn't sound as good as when the song is playing originally. But two Naruto songs, the rising fighting spirits, and the sadness and sorrow. These two themes from Naruto, I can play.
Well, actually, that's a fantastic segue into my next question, and that is, tell us about your love of anime.
Oh yeah, I mean, from also a young age. I mean, most of South American kids, I think, have experienced at least Saint Seiya and Dragon Ball,
Mhm.
and it was most of my influences when I was growing up also some Street Fighter. I love fighting games. And I think anime today is not something that I do really frequently, but when I find a new anime that really resonates with me, and again, usually they are not the mainstream, the like anime of the season, but I went like deep down on them. The last one that had this effect on me, it was Megalobox. The second season is called Nomad. I have I forget here. Here. It was on the wall. So my father gave this to me in my, I think, 22nd birthday, because he thought the character looked like me when I got my hair out. And I mean, I don't have that many scars, but the journey that Gearless Joe went through on the anime, it's really touching because he, I'm, even though it's a real sport because it's more akin to boxing than to pro wrestling, but the journey of Gearless Joe in being a nobody to reaching the top spot, but not quite being the top star, and then falling down a I mean, drug addiction, painkiller addiction, and all this deep stuff that the enemies touches on, but reconnecting with the loved ones that got him to that top spot first, and getting to know what's really important in life, and valuing these people, and preparing for the next generation as well. It was something that when I was watching, I saw a lot of myself in Gearless Joe as well, because mostly when I told you about the tag team with Black Shark, because it was kind of this big up really quickly and then a huge down after the surgeries, and trying to get the rhythm back and not finding my place in BWF. I went without wrestling from the middle of 2018. Yeah, I don't remember the month exactly, but the middle of 2018, and all the way to the returning after the pandemic, so the end of 2020. So about 1.5 years that I was not with BWF, not officially out. I didn't fight or resonate, but I was just not showing up. My heart was not there, and I felt that I wasn't able to perform. I wasn't wanted there, and even though most of these thoughts were just in my head, but watching Megalobox, I realized that no, I must be there. I must be there for the people. I must be there for me, but I must be there most importantly, not on how I perform, but because I perform, basically. So to be in the ring is the important part. It's not the placement of the card. It's not the money that I receive. It's not if everyone likes me or not, but it's the thing that I love to do, that I need to do, and that I mostly feel myself doing. So that's the type of message that I get from these silly places like anime.
No, absolutely. I've seen the fourth season of Megalobox, and it's just amazing. The one thing that I always like really enjoyed about it is the animation. Just because it has that gritty, old school like Dragon Ball look to it,
Yeah,
and it's just like nostalgic to me.
yeah. It was a 1980s anime in the 2020s.
Exactly. I like how anime is like animes nowadays. It's fine the way that it's drawn, but like that old school '80s, it looks kind of low key. It kind of looks low grade, Oh, perfect. Chef's kiss.
And most of my influences in anime are kind of old as well. I really like JoJo Bizarre Adventures,
Oh, yeah.
even though now it's very popular. But I started. Oh, it's my cat. Sorry.
Okay.
His name is Cheddar. So JoJo, I started watching in 2012, right when the anime first began to air, and for like the first 3 or 4 years, I was like constantly telling people about it. But someday I realized that everybody knows about JoJo now. Well, it's not that special anymore. I wanted to tell them about it, but I mean, for me, it's really good. It's really fun that more people know JoJo and there's more content about JoJo, because I mean, it's one of those jokes that when you do them as a teenager, you don't really think of the consequences. But I thought to myself, and I jokingly said to many of my friends at the time that, I can only die after I watch all of JoJo, because I was on the first part, and I mean the third part in Stardust Crusaders, and it was just finished up the Steel Ball Run, the 7th part. So I think, that's really far away, and in the span of like 6 years, I was finishing Steel Ball Run. So I don't think I'm gonna die now. So but I vividly remember saying that to my friends that it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna do most of the things that I want to do by then.
Steel Ball Run is finally getting an anime adaptation. So
Yeah.
I don't read the manga. I don't have time to read generally. So I'm very excited to see Steel Ball Run.
Oh, it's a masterpiece. Honestly, there's no better word to describe it. I read the manga online, but I mean, it's so what I had access to it, and every arc, every fight, every stand, you'll be amazed by how Araki thinks of those things. He kind of gets a bit out of hand in part 8 because stands start to sound more like concepts than like beats. But in part 7, it's all really tied up, and the screenplay, the images, the angles that it chooses to show the battle, to show the characters, you see meaning behind like every stroke, like every panel. It's wonderful.
Who's your favorite JoJo?
My favorite JoJo, man, I have to say Josuke from part 4.
Okay.
Just the vibe of a slice of life. I mean, it's easygoing. Of course, the hype from part 3 from JoJo, it's really fun, but I kind of like more the vibe of Josuke, of just being a teenager, just being a kid doing stuff and dealing with the consequences, but always dealing with the consequences, like not refraining from his actions, and just that's who I am. And if I have to kill this serial killer to be who I am, I'll do it.
And he has the coolest hair out of all the JoJos.
Yeah. Don't talk about his hair. Oh, and there's a wrestler, the Hafaluk. I don't know if you saw him in BWF Instagram, and he had the exact same line for his hair. He's a black wrestler, and at the time he had a black power. And one of the spots of his matches was for the other wrestler to grab his hair to pull him from the mat, and he fired up and exploded. Não pega no meu cabelo, que tipo, don't grab my hair, not my hair, tipo, sempre alguma coisa. I guess I got emotional and started saying in Portuguese, sorry. But he got emotional as well and always tried to protect his hair. So
And you were
it
like,
was,
that's a JoJo reference.
yeah. Exactly. Baki, I like as well. Baki the Grappler, and also King and Ashura are two other like fighting anime. And Fist of the North Star, it's really old. It was one of the first animes that I ever got in contact with because that's a good story. Because my father is a big fan of Sepultura, a big heavy metal band from Brazil, and he found a AMV. I mean, I was like 9, and my father was 30 something, and he found the AMV that is something that I would experience like 10 years later. And it's a AMV with The Hunt, the song from Sepultura, The Hunt, with the background and scenes from Fist of the North Star. And when I first tried to search for Fist of the North Star, I ended up watching the spin-off that is Howl's Gaiden. Yeah. And one of the first scenes is Howl like punching a guy through his stomach, and the guy separates in half, and the building behind the guy explodes in half as well. So for like 14-year-old me, that was the most awesome shit ever.
Well, you know, I haven't actually seen that, but you're definitely selling me on it.
It's really fun. It's really fun. There's another spin-off that is, I think, more of a seinen, but it's not really good, and it's in 3D. That CG from like Berserk 2016.
Yeah.
So that one I wouldn't recommend. But the spin-off from Howl and also the first series of Hokuto no Ken, it's really good, and you can see many references that were used later in other animes and from the 80s movies from Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. The mangaka, I don't remember his name right now, but he would draw Kenshiro in these costumes that Arnold and Sylvester would wear in the movies.
That's awesome. It seems like anime and you know, normal media has intertwined for so long. I don't know if you know, but you know, The Matrix was heavily influenced on Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
So yeah. That makes me happy.
It's really fun because my father, he collects comic books, mostly Superman and Justice League, but I mean the one character that he has the most things of, but are not limited to comic books, is Conan the Barbarian. He has, I mean, I think he's missing like 4 comic books and 1 actual book for him to have all of the Conan media that was officially published in Brazil.
Wow.
It's a massive wardrobe. I forgot the name at the moment, but
Collection.
I mean, it's in his house, in his living room, that is, the entire wall is just Conan. He has the swords, both Conan's sword and Conan's father, that he used in the second movie. He has many action figures. He has all of the books. He has other retellings, republishings, some of the sagas like the Savage Sword. He has like 3 versions that were published. So it's everything Conan he has. When I'm on events like the Anime Friends, that is a annual show that BWF does, I usually go searching for new Conan medium, media that on the events, but I always like FaceTime him, and he says, "No, I already have that one," and it's always that. But I keep on calling him just to be sure, and just to for him to know that I care. If you don't have it, I can give it to you. But he always beat me to the punch because when he went on like pre-sale, he buys it immediately and arrives at his house. So, and I was telling you this because for me it was manga at first. So I grew up seeing him collecting these things about Superman, Justice League, and mostly Conan. But I had the feeling that, well, I have to have a collection for me of my things that I like. I just can't copy him. So I started with the classics like One Piece, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Saint Seiya. I had most of the Saint Seiya publications here in Brazil, and went on with series that were a little shorter, like King of Thorns and Angry, some smaller mangas. But eventually, when I was about to marry, I had to sell all of them to pay for the expenses of the marriage. And it's not something that I miss because it's way more expensive now, like 4 times more expensive now to have this hobby.
Oh, yeah.
But it's something that I'm meaning to do, like, I don't know, when I retire, I get back on collecting manga.
Well, as somebody with a very large, collection, mostly of anime figures, I can definitely relate to all of that, and I admire you and your father's dedication to the craft as well.
Well, I aspire to have a collection as big as his someday, but will take a lot of time and a lot of money as well.
Yeah, my wallet is screaming at me. Like, why do you hate me?
I had a teacher once that bought a bust of Thor from Marvel store, not like the god, but it was like the first day when his salary was paid, and he went to the store immediately and bought the bus for like 3,000 reais, and he got like 200 reais to live the rest of the month. But the statue was there, like on the front of his living room, and he made sure to show all of his students that he bought it.
There's some statues that I think that are just, freaking awesome. They're just too freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a Guts and Zod one that I saw once that it's massive, and if I had like, I don't know, like 20,000 to spare, like nothing to do with it, I think it would be a good investment. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
yeah, like when I was much younger, there was like this statue of like from Tokyo Ghoul. It was Toga and Tsukiyama from the wedding, the church scene. And I put that on my Christmas list, and my mom was like, "What is that? And why is it so expensive?" And I was explaining to her, and she said, "Yeah, you're not getting that. This is way too expensive. No."
Have priorities, son.
Yeah, priorities.
But that's a good lesson.
Yeah. Alright, we should probably get into this next segment because we could probably be talking about manga, anime, and collectibles all night.
Yeah. Yeah, would be fun, but the channel is still wrestling with entertainment.
Yes. It's time for the colossal question. And let's say that they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Man, that's hard. Well, for one, must be my entrance theme. That is Vulgaris Magistralis from Heidevolk. Is a Swedish band, and I've been using this entrance song my whole career. I tried to change it a few times, but it didn't really work. So that surely would be the first one. And I'm really in doubt now because for once I would choose Pearl Jam. I'm a big fan of Pearl Jam. The song that I chose for my wedding was Future Days, and also a song that appears in The Last of Us. That's a game that I'm a really fan of. So if you are saying a movie about my whole life, I think I have to put Future Days from Pearl Jam. But the last one, if I feel like there's missing some heaviness. Vulgaris Magistralis is heavy, but it's not that heavy. And I really listen to a lot of like noise grinds and like metalcore. But I think I'll go with Emotions again because I'm playing. I finished playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 a few weeks ago, and I think it dethroned The Last of Us as my favorite game of all time. And I also bought some fan arts. Let me take it all off there. So I also bought some fan art of Clair Obscur. And the soundtrack of Clair Obscur is, in my opinion, now the best OST in any game, like ever. Like rivaling with the best of the Final Fantasies, the best of the, I don't know, PS2 era. So to choose one song from Clair Obscur's OST, I would go with, I mean, it's French, so I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it correctly, but it's Vie à Taimia. I could send you through Instagram if you, I don't know, gonna link it on somewhere, but Une Vie à Taimia. That's a longer song. That's also something that I like. I prefer longer songs, but it's really beautiful, and it has all that's ups and downs because the song plays in a moment of the game that you were fighting what you think at the moment is the final boss, but it's not really the final boss, but it's also a very special song. So I think I would go with these three. I don't think it was supposed to be that long of an answer, but thank you for letting me talk.
No worries. I mean, nobody is here to hear me talk. This is your interview. It's your show.
Thank you.
I would ask you about your opinion on The Last of Us 2, but I definitely don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, I mean, I could share it. I don't think it's that bad.
From what I hear, it's a very controversial subject for The Last of Us.
Yeah. It's controversial, but I don't think it was meant to be like polarizing. It was just like the moment the game was released, the society was already polarized, so the game just made part of it. And the one flaw that I see in the game is that you don't have a option in the end. You are forced by Naughty Dog to, I mean, trying to not give spoilers in a 5-year-old game, but you are forced to apologize and forgive, and the player might not be ready to apologize and forgive. Both ways, like you did some bad things and you received some bad things from the other characters, but if you had the option to choose, like, was the writing good enough, was the story good enough, was the purpose of the game good enough that you were convinced that the right way is to forgive, so you're gonna choose to forgive, But no, they didn't let us choose. They didn't have enough confidence on their message to let us choose and see if it really worked. They forced us to apologize and to forgive. So that's why I think it rubbed people the wrong way. That's controversial. I don't think that's too controversial.
You know, I don't know what the outcry was in Brazil, but in America, like, people like lost their shit about this game, and like subreddits of Reddit had to close because they had to stop the comments because it was just so insane.
Yeah, we had some situations like this here, but not that big of a repercussion.
I gotcha. Right. And to your 3 songs, definitely a solid 3 picks. Everybody knows that you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go with the casting. Who plays yourself, and you can't say you because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Who plays myself? I mean, a lot of people tell me that I look Indian, like from India, but I don't know any Indian actors, so I'll go with the one that I aspire to look alike. That would be Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah. Now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Oh, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. But first would be my wife. And could I do some time manipulation on this answer?
Yes, absolutely. We have CGI and an unlimited budget, so we could do whatever we want.
And you were worried about The Last of Us, but I think that would be more controversial. But I think for my wife, I would cast Ellen Page before transitioning.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a problem, but I mean, I think they look alike. And Ellen Page at my teenage years was a crush of mine, so but I would be cool seeing that.
Fair enough. I don't think it's that controversial.
And second, I would go with Blackout, my best friend, but someone to play him. I mean, you interviewed him, so you know he has quite a high opinion of himself, and I mean, it's difficult for me to find an actor that would fit the role, to look like him and to act like him, because he has kind of a real-life Robert Downey Jr. Personality, but I don't think it looks like him. So perhaps like a Conor McGregor for him, because he practices Kung Fu, so he knows how to fight for real. I think Conor would be a good fit.
Okay.
Well, and last, I couldn't say like any more family members because I think they would get jealous. Because if I choose my father, my mother would ask like, "Why not me?" and vice versa.
I'll try to pick both of them. Parents count as one.
Okay. For my parents, for my father, it's kind of easier. I just don't remember the name of the actor, but you know the movie that inspired Solid Snake for Kojima. I think it's Trouble in New York. Let's get this right.
That's the Kurt Russell movie, right?
Yeah. So I mean that would be good for my father. I think he would be proud of the physique. He's a personal trainer, so it's something that he cares.
Escape from New York is the movie.
That one. And for my mother, she's quite. She has a personality really close to Blackout as well. But she really focuses on her career. So I could choose kind of a Indian heritage, like a Native American heritage. I don't know many actors. That's hard.
We could leave it up to casting if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, but I got a better answer. Okay, let's leave my mom for a moment. She wouldn't mind. But Bob Jr., the owner and the founder of WWF, man, you wouldn't believe, but he looks exactly like Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan doesn't have the mustache. Like, there's one movie from Hulk Hogan that it does not have the mustache, and it's exactly Bob Jr. Like, exactly.
Alright, perfect. And maybe that would work for him, brother.
I mean, Bob Jr. is quite a good actor. I did a video clip, like a music video clip, for a MC, like from Rio de Janeiro funk. It's MC Daniel here in Brazil, and it was me, Victor Bauer, Taylor Skinner, and Hulk Jr. from the Wrestlers, and also Bob Jr. That is the promoter. And we all like got beat up by the MC, by the rapper. So, but it was fun. Like, we went after 4 a.m. in a random bar here in São Paulo. I was thrown off a ladder by the girlfriend of this rapper, and she really kicked me on the stairs. Like, it was not fake for her, but it was fun.
You were like, it's a walk.
Yeah. And at first she was kind of shy because she had to give me a slap on the face, and she was like, so I tried to comfort her in like, no, you can slap me. And I got out of there with like all red here, like all marked. So, but the tape was good. That's what's mattered.
It's definitely sounding like a great movie, a blockbuster to say the least. And you could pre-order the tickets now.
I wish here in Brazil there are a lot of novelas. I don't know if that word is correct in English.
Yes, I know what the novella is.
Yeah, and there are biblical, so like retelling the stories from the Bible. And most of the characters are like the exact persona, like long hair, bearded, with a like leather armor. So when I show some clips of my character, like from Dillios in pro wrestling, to other people that doesn't know pro wrestling, they're like, "Oh, you do that stuff from Record, the channel that these novellas are on." And I said, kinda. It's close, but with a little less magical powers.
Well, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Oh, all good. You can put whatever you like on pizza. I'm a fan of cooking with what you have. So I open the fridge and I see this, and this, and I throw it all on the pan, and it works. So no problem.
Gotcha. So pro pineapple on pizza.
Bro.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon is Pochena from the 3rd gen, because Pochena looks like the first dog that I have when I was a kid. But the spirit like that would represent me, I would go with a rock type like it's Golem, I think his name. That it's really round. Yeah, Golem. Yeah.
Okay. Now, weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical rock.
Wrestling a rock? Man, that would be really fun. I mean, that's the kind of wrestling that I miss. I mean, whoa, that's so many spots you can do. Yeah, I would wrestle a rock.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
That sounds fun. Where can I find some video of that? If you have it, send it to me.
I will send it to you. I will send you the match. No spoilers.
Really fun.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years? Well, I see myself as more of a trainer by then. I think I'm 26 by now, so I'll be over 30, and I have 2 friends that live really close. Right now, I'm living in the countryside in São Paulo. The name of the city is Piracicaba, and there's another wrestler that lives here. His name is the Masked Angel, or Anjo Mascarado. And there's also Murilo D'Angelo that I think also you already interviewed before Blackouts, but I'm not sure. And both of them are like, they're not younger than me, they are older than me, but they have less time in wrestling than I have. And because we live so closely, we developed a friendship, and I see myself, and I try to be kind of a mentor to them, guiding them through BWF and the difficulties, the challenges that they are like implied to have in building their matches, and how to train and what to focus, how to speak to Bob Jr. and when not to speak to Bob Jr. and things like that. So I think it would be a natural transition for me, not to become like part-time, but the main difference that I see is that I would be more inclined to help and teach the other trainees, just like Masked Angel and Murilo, and the other, younger that we have in the BWF, like training wrestling school.
Okay. And what is a match of yours that you would recommend that best shows off what you are all about as a pro wrestler?
A match that shows what I can do. I don't think I have many of that, like barn burners, like wrestling matches that tear the hounds down, but I have many wrestling matches that are like intense, that keep the audience like locked. I would say that right after I betrayed Black Shark, or the second match in our rivalry, I think it's one that would fit this role to show what the heel Dillios is all about. because it was more violent. We were allowed to use weapons. It was like extreme rules. And he got out of the match like with a huge swelling on his forehead. And I mean, it's not something that we want necessarily to do, but I think it shows that you have to take a match with Dillios seriously in order to not only put on a good show, put on a good performance, but to be serious in the way you protect yourself and do your part in the ring.
Can we find that match on YouTube?
I think we do. It's like 4 years old by now. There's also one that was published a little more recently, if it's easier. That's me versus Taylor Skinner. And more recently, BWF started to release the matches in only one singular match per video, because before it was like an episode that contained 2, 3, or sometimes 4 matches in a single close to 1 hour video. And it was really hard to find the matches that we were looking for, or a particular wrestler that was not on the main event of that episode. So I think the match with Taylor Skinner was right before that match with Black Shark. So I was still on that really high of, okay, I'm riding solo, I'm trying to find myself, what I can do. And it was for the, I think, the Brazilian Championship. But WWF has many championships, and we are just debuting another one on the next show as well. And I think we're going to have 10.
Wow, that's a lot of belts.
Well, we have about like 60 wrestlers at any given time. So some of them like get out and are doing other things, and other ones like show up but don't stay. So there's a core of wrestlers of like close to 40, and 20 other guys that can show up or don't show up, and the show still goes on without them.
I gotcha. Right. Well, if those matches are indeed on YouTube, I will definitely grab them and put a link to them in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen them, wants to see them, wants to re-see them after this interview.
Okay.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Triple H.
Worst wrestler.
New Jack.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Shingo Takagi.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Anyone's past or present? Well, that's really hard, but I think the One-Winged Angel that Kenny Omega used once.
Okay. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Still real to me, damn it.
That is the correct answer. We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
Fruit.
That is correct. It is indeed a fruit. New Japan
I mean,
wrestler...
I'm a nutritionist, so it's kind of my job.
If you didn't get that right, then I might have to take your lessons away.
Yeah.
New Japan wrestler Tai Chi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
I think if the part of your butt that is not tanned is showing up, like that line of like lighter color from the tie. I think that's the limits. Like no more than that. Like there's need to be just one color the whole tie.
Okay, but that being said, what about those individuals that have an all over tan?
Well, now the sky is the limit. I mean, wrestle in a speedo.
Alright, so you can sexy Eddie it as long as you don't have timelines.
Yeah.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No, never.
And that's the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you, James. It was really fun. And I also loved our tangent about anime and manga. But speaking about wrestling, it's always great. And thank you for having me here and for the opportunity to share some of those things.
No, absolutely. And once again, where can we find you on social media?
So it's at Dillios _Espartano BWF.
Perfect. And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Right, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For our special guest, Dillios, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling Wit
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.